Hello, Coach Pete Metis here. Thanks for checking out the actual FlawAssassin interactive training lesson demo. Real excited about sharing this with you. It's a culmination of 10 years, over 30,000 catalog training clips that have been reviewed, as well as the experiences of several people with over 25,000 player, trainer, camper exposures that have that has created the baseline of information and data for this project. And so what we want to do here is walk you through the interactive portion for the player. We also have a corresponding coach's version, and that coach's version actually helps to take a parent or a coach and to walk them through and assist the player in utilizing both the interactive features as well as taking our content and helping the coach and parent to implement it offline as well. So that's a real important aspect to the system. So the next thing is to be very careful to enter your email address and your name and all that in the login correctly, because the system is going to deliver a personalized skill analysis report to you at the completion of the lesson. And so if you don't input the right email address, you're not going to get the lesson report, and that lesson report is full of great information. Now, let's walk through some of the introductory phases that you're going to see that's common across most of the lessons. Here's the introduction to the actual lesson. It's going to define what your lesson is about, and we can move through that pretty quickly. And then you can get into the tutorial side, where we offer you the tutorials on how to navigate through the lesson. And it's pretty simple after you've done it once or twice, because this is very intuitive, and you'll see that as we go through. And so that's available to all the first-time users. And of course, then what we want to do is identify the objectives of what we're trying to accomplish as coaches dealing with the player in this particular training content overview, kind of let you know what the end game is for what we're trying to accomplish in the lesson. So that's an important aspect of beginning the lesson feature. And then, of course, the next phase before starting is actually the setting up of your clip. We offer you 4 methods by which to interface with the lesson. And the first 2 are based primarily on video. And the number 1 way is my favorite, in that you can actually take a digital camcorder and capture the clip maybe in your backyard, at the ball field, at a game or practice, and come back and immediately, through utilizing the viewer on the camera and the control mechanisms to move your clip forward and backwards to the appropriate positions that the system would ask you to do, then you can do your comparative analysis by holding that digital in one hand or laying it on the desktop and then clicking with the other. And I think that's the fastest way to get the lesson moving. Now, we do offer an upload feature. We have a component in the toolbar that you get, the free training toolbar called My Training, and you can actually upload your videos, store your videos, and then create the viewer and click on the viewer, and it has a gadget that pops up that can float all around your screen, and then you can place that viewer actually right adjacent to the actual interactive lesson and do your side-by-side that way. That's a real cool feature that's built into the toolbar. Next would be the live lesson that you could accomplish by being on site, perhaps with a laptop, and of course then you can actually use still photographs as well once you move in and get a little more experience with the system. So with that, let's use the digital version, handheld, for this particular demo. Now, I'm going to start the lesson quickly. I'm going to let you know that at the top, you can always know where you are and how you're navigating through the lesson, essentially in the upper left-hand corner, because we're going to tell you what phase of the lesson you're on, what's the skill number, and actually give you an overview of what we're trying to accomplish here, the question number, and so on. So that's always helpful. And then, of course, immediately you see the bigger illustration here. That's our demo example. And, of course, you can see the graphics and some of the options that are going to be provided in the questioning phase of the lesson. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say, okay, I've got my digital camera, I've got my clip, and I have moved my clip to this particular position. So I've got a kind of a resembling parallel between my video clip and the example. And so I'm going to find out what exactly do I want to do here with this particular question. So it's going to click on the text box, and it's going to give me in text the actual instructions on how to execute it. Very simple. And then also I can get a corresponding, if I don't want to do the text and I just want to jump right on in, I can click the audio, In phase 3, skill number 1, what we're attempting to do here is, and then I can get the audio instructions that parallel, again, the text. So those are 2 important immediate features that you would want to pay attention to in conducting your lesson. Now, in some questions, we want to provide you with additional information or bring about more clarity in what we're trying to execute. And so we'll offer illustrations in the right-hand corner. And if you click on that, that will actually pop up and give you an expanded version for, say, an example of what we want you to do that maybe you're not so sure of or maybe a little more challenging. So we offer that in an illustration form. So you click that and it closes it back. Now I'm going to go down here and go ahead and answer the question. And it's asking me what angle is my front side foot as my hands hit the contact zone in this particular question. So I'm going to look at my particular clip and I'm going to see that my foot is basically angled. Amongst those 3, it most closely represents number 1. But let's just say, for the sake of the example, that this clip is not a common clip. And let me go through 3 or 4 more clips and kind of get an estimation on exactly the average location. And so I can then take my training pin that I've just activated by clicking on the demo clip, and I can actually slide it to where I think it's probably more precise and more correct and representative of my clip. So I find myself right about here more times than not, and then I'm going to come over to the right-hand corner and submit. Now, I got an incorrect response, automatic feedback, and of course, one of the benefits of getting this is that you can go down to the bottom of that response and actually click on the access link that will take you to the specific training that we give you for this skill. So you have a chance to enhance your understanding of exactly what you did and why it wasn't correct. But for the sake of the example, let's go ahead and click the OK button and progress to the next question in the lesson. And here we have a version where we're going to be focusing on the back foot at this same phase 3. So this is the second skill we're reviewing. And in this case, there's a couple of features we want to highlight. Here at the top, again, we can go and we can check out some author information. It may be that your lesson's being provided by a sponsor and their information is contained there. You can also shut off the audio and the sound effects of the lesson. And right here, we've included, instead of an illustration, an actual video that can play right in the corner. What we're about to do is called the multiple color drills. We click on that and it opens up and it expands. Great feature and very supportive. So I'll shut that off. And now let's go ahead and go down to the bottom. And right before I close out, what I want to do is I want to take you to the outline. And this is a real cool feature because you can actually shut your lesson off and then you can come back and the system will ask you if you want to pick up where you left off. And if you want to go back and review some of the previous questions that you've already answered in your lesson, if you want to see the point value for each question, because as you know, the points will offer the score that will be released in your final analysis report, and it's kind of the basis of our tangible way of tracking your progression. So as the scores increase, we know that you're improving. And it's the first time, again, that there's ever been such an unbiased, tangible method by which to track progression. We're very proud of that. And so you can see some of the details. You can actually jump ahead in your lesson, and the outline actually provides all that. So let's go ahead and let's answer the question. And they've given us 4 options in this particular version. So I'm going to look at my clip, and I'm going to say that my clip is most representative of this position. So I'm going to position it over the 1 here and submit. Bingo, I got it correct. And I acquired the points, and now I can continue to go through this process throughout the lesson until the lesson's complete. I'll get a quick overview of exactly what my score was online, but a more detailed report will come to me, and I will utilize that report to actually work with my parent or my coach to focus on the specific skill and skill areas that need the most work. It's a great tool.